to everyone. We'll welcome you to King Media on the program today, Issues in the Polity. On this program, what do? We look at topical issues, current affairs issues that are happening in the society. We try to dissect it here so that everyone, even to the layman, can actually understand what the issue is all about, what is attached to it, the cons, the pros, every area, every angle to that issue. That's what we address here on Issues in the Polity on King Media. Today, we have a guest, like as usual, who is going to be doing that to the topic we're talking about today. And who is our guest? My guest today on Issues in the Polity is a public analyst, a media consultant, a patriotic Nigerian. The law, the interest of this country is at his hand. So we don't have any other person to come and discuss this very issue today, not other person than him. He is Mr. Morufdin Bello.
And I say good day to all our viewers.
Let's begin the show today. We all know what is happening now, what is trending. The just concluded Presidential Election Tribunal. It was a very big dramatic one, but at least we were able to come out of it all. So we are looking at the Presidential Election Tribunal, the outcome, issues surrounding it. So I want to start the show, Mr. Morufdin, on this. What are your views about the Presidential Election Tribunal, the outcome? Let's start from there.
Well, personally for me, I'm not surprised the outcome went the way it went. Permit me to say that judgment is a watershed judgment, one that will be a reference point for our electoral judgments and procedures going forward. The National Assemblies, the lawmakers will have a lot to pick from that judgment to fine-tune and improve our laws. It will also help politicians to understand how well to approach the courts when they are trying to push their petitions, because it's quite unfortunate. For the first time since I've been following the judgment of Electoral Tribunal in Nigeria, the judgment was given without any going in favor of the petitioners. It shows they were not well prepared. They didn't really work. It's like I said, I'm not surprised, because it's obvious. You have over 700 and something thousand polling units in this country, and a party only have 8,000 agents in just 8,000 polling units. How will they get their evidence? We've said this before the election. There were some candidates that are not prepared to contest. They just went into it to ride on the emotion of the young Nigerians who are hungry and who saw them as their hope, not really evaluating them properly due to inexperience, to see that hope doesn't lie in the hands of the people they place their hopes in. The three major presidential candidates have at one time or the other belonged to same parties. The current president and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had been in ACN together at one time. Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi had been in PDP. As a matter of fact, he even ran as a running mate for Atiku Abubakar. So if you are talking of jettisoning the old order, they all belong to the old order. And you can see from the tribunal, for the first time, I must say, we had the cleanest, the closest to a very clean election was this 2023 presidential election. So for anybody to come out and just say it's a sham, you need to prove beyond reasonable doubt, like the judges said. How can a contestant acknowledge that INEC robbed him of victory, at the same time still acknowledge that the areas at which he won the elections were right, and where he lost, it was robbery? You can't have the two at the same time. It's either you stand with one and against the other. You can't say the two stand side by side in trying to prove your judgment. It doesn't work like that. So I believe the judgment that was delivered fairly and squarely. if you listen to the 5 judges, you will see that the trend of their arguments, the trend of their position on the petitions, all aligned. In fact, it is the first time, I think the second time after that of Buhari versus Obasanjo, that will be having a judgment where all the judges agreed unanimously on a position. There was no minority judgment. It was all majority judgment. And it took about 12 hours, almost half of a day to deliver. So we should give kudos to those judges. They not only persevere and remain patient to give the judgment, they gave resounding, eloquent, very reasonable judgment. Judgment that can stand the test of any argument that you want to bring. There is no, I've reviewed those judgments, and there is no area you want to puncture. It's difficult to find it, both legally and logically.
Oh, well, that is that from, because even that yesterday we were wondering that how long is it going to take? We're just hearing all the reports and everything. But now the question I want to ask now, you said so much about the outcome of this thing. What does it say about democratic system of government and political terrain in Nigeria? What does it say to this system of government that we practice?
Well, part of the democratic process is that anybody or anyone that feels aggrieved about anything will go to court rather than resort to violence. And this judgment, like I said, except you want to be unfair to the judges, or you just want to be biased, or you just want to see from the point of negativity, this judgment has shown that we can count on our judiciary when it matters most. Particularly, like I've always said, personally to me, at the level of the appeal court and the Supreme Court, judgment in most cases has always been very fair, very, very fair, except for occasionally, which we should expect. They are not angels. They are human beings like us. They are Nigerians like us. They have every trait of an average Nigerian in them too. But at the same time, they are judges. They live above board. You rarely see, those 5 judges, you rarely see them in social gatherings. You rarely see them in social events. They are people who have lived up to their calling. They are people you cannot allege to be corrupt. None of them have been alleged of such in the past. And I want to give kudos to the Chief Justice of the Federation in trying to ensure that the outcome of that judgment is also fair. You see that the 5 judges were picked across the geographical landscape of the country. So there will be no argument that it's because it's an Igbo man. He gave numbers of votes scored in states where the Labour Party candidate won, compared to the alleged favored candidate that INEC favored, and show that INEC wouldn't have want to favor Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and be giving him 8,000 votes, 5,000 votes in some states. That the Labour Party even won in states where Asiwaju is known to be the domineering political figure. Lagos State shows that INEC was fair in their judgment. And the area at which the Labour Party were hammering on was the high rev. The high rev is not by law any tool of electioneering in Nigeria. It was only an idea from INEC themselves to try and show to Nigerians that they intend to be fair in whatever happens during the election. So it was an initiative of INEC to develop that platform so that results can be posted on it almost in real time for people to monitor.
Without manipulation.
But unfortunately, attempts were seen a day before the election, during the election, and few hours after the election, that several attempts were made to hack that platform. So the wisest thing any serious INEC leader would have done is to at that time shut that platform down. Since whatever is on that platform in the first place is not really the basis for any argument to win the election. It's just a platform to present the results to the public who may not be right at the point of election. The primary document is from ECA, which is shared among all agents at the point of announcing the results. That is the most important document in Nigeria election. Once you don't have it, you may not be able to prove whatever you want to prove. So how can a party that have 8,000 agents, instead of having over 700,000 agents, have all the results? So they can only have that of the places where they are. And like they were saying, they were alleging at the tribunal that INEC refused to provide evidence they needed to argue their case. And my point is, how can INEC that you sue
now give you
evidence? No party in Nigerian history, in Nigerian election petition history, has gone to ask INEC for evidence. You provide your evidence. That is why INEC gave you rooms to have agents across all the polling units, so that you have your direct
information officer.
You have the direct result sheet that you can bring to recalculate your figure. All parties have a situation room where they monitor election return. I follow that of PDP. In fact, I follow the three major parties during the election. But at some point, the Labour Party shut down theirs when it was obvious they were losing. I witnessed it. It was what I saw. But for the PDP and APC, they were live until all the results were collected. And to be very fair and just, what both parties were projecting on their platform was exactly what was being presented by the INEC umpire. So how would anybody now say they were rigged? So from the onset, for those of us who have been following election petition in Nigeria, we've seen it. We are aware that those allegations are very watery and cannot stand the test of time.
Something comes to me. We've been having election tribunals probably from the time the colonial era. But this one seems to be somehow different. What makes it different from other tribunals we've been having? Well, it seems to look somehow unique.
Everything about this particular February 25th election has been different from all the elections we've been having. One, the stake was very high. Compared to previous elections, fresh voters largely participated in this one. Voter apathy was a bit less among the young, the new voter registrants. The youth just coming of age, a lot of them come out to participate in this election compared to previous one where you see them playing football or playing around while the adults are the one participating in the election. That is one. Two, a lot of innovations were brought into the election. INEC tried to introduce so many other ways of trying to make sure the election is very transparent. The BVAS, the Bermuda verification machine that was brought in to replace card reader, was more effective and almost eliminated possibility of double voting. Or using someone else's card that we used to experience previously. One person can go to 2-3 points to vote using other people's name. This was also eliminated. And you can see that for the first time, the figure of total vote cast never inflated beyond 15-16 million. During the days of not using all those machines, we do have close to 30-40 million votes that you can't even prove where they came from. But this time around, we were able to see more clean, more well-organized election on the part of.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Murubudin Bello. I want to say here that how can we sustain this very opportunity we had as of yesterday, going about the judgment, to make sure that availability of the citizen on good governance is sustained, that people will continue to believe that there is good governance in this country?
The only thing I will advise, there is no good governance anywhere in the world that is given a la carte. It is the citizens that will be upright, will be ready to constructively criticize their government, make demands.
Constructively?
Yes. Make demands on government to do what the people want, what will benefit the lives of the people, rather than pursue personal interests. And I want to advise at this point that for governance purpose, now moving away from the tribunal issues, we should be less and less of criticizing the federal government. More effort and focus should now go to states and local government, because it's becoming obvious that most of the economic hardship we are facing now as a result of irresponsibility on the part of most state government and not on the federal government. If you objectively sit down and analyze what federal government has been doing since 1999 till date, you see that most of the programs have always been for the benefit of the people. And I'm able to say, with the exception of maybe Lagos State, and probably River State and Kano, and lately Cross River State, most of the states are still far behind. They are not taking advantage of the opportunities they truly have, because nobody is pressuring the states. We are all asking Tinubu what he should do, Buhari what he should do, Jonathan what he should do, rather than call Dapo Abiodun to order
governors of your states
and all the other governors. So I think we should focus more on that. And lawyers should please do the right thing. It's not just about your money alone. You could advise your client, who will certainly lose a case, not to go to court and still hand your money, rather than lead them to disgrace. Because from the outcome of this judgment, it's obvious, even to those of us who are not learned colleagues of the lawyers, can see that those petitions were very watery. Very watery. That if I were to be one of the presidential candidates, no lawyer would have led me to that shit.
Seriously.
They've not presented anything convincing for me to say I want to go and claim any mandate that does not belong to me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Morufdin Bello. Before we wrap up the program, these very stakeholders I want to talk about, they are very important in governance and the political terrain in Nigeria. What would be your parting words to politicians?
Yeah.
In just few seconds.
To politicians, they should go to the polls with clean hands. They should try as much as possible to allow our electoral laws to work. Because the truth is that all this crisis we are having, that we need to go to tribunal immediately after election, is because politicians don't trust themselves. They know themselves that they always make effort to sabotage the law. If we all allow the electoral laws to take its course during elections, we all do what the law asks us to do and stay away from doing what the law says we should not do, I don't think our election will end at tribunal, because your conscience will have honestly told you that you lost. Just like a friend said yesterday, he said, "Are you sure the Labour Party will not accept the result because they knew where they won, they cheated?" So the assumption will be that those who won at other places also cheated. And it's vice versa. So we shouldn't be particular about the Labour Party. If it had turned around to be another thing, the other people too will still go to the appellate court, because they believe they must have been rigged out. Because virtually all Nigerian politicians are election riggers. All of them without exception.
Alright, that is much we can take on the program Issues in the Polity. We say thank you so much to Mr. Morufdin Bello. He is a public analyst, a media consultant, a patriotic Nigeria. Anything Nigeria is always on his mind. We thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today on the program with us.
Thank you for having me.
Alright, thank you so much. That's how we take it on the program today. Join us some other time where we'll bring in another topical and current issues, where we'll look at it holistically and let us understand understand the real sense in that issue. Till we come your way another time, don't forget, politicians, be true to your heart. When you promise to do something, kindly do that. But once you do that, people are ready to always vote for you. They count on you that this man is trusted and is tested. Okay, till we come your way again, issues in the polity will come from King Media. Thank you so much for tuning in.